in the Canadian clown show topic. Canada to introduce an Orwellian law, special registration for podcasts. Canada recently announced it will require podcasts to register with the Media Regulation Authority, CRTC, Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, through the Online Streaming Act, also known as BC11. Yes, this is the same bill that many Canadian YouTubers have been complaining about. This act will require streaming services like Netflix and Spotify to support Canadian content. The act doesn't clearly define how much support is required and what kind of content should be supported. That will be delegated to CRTC. There was immediate backlash to this bill. Elon Musk said Trudeau is trying to crush free speech in Canada. Glenn Greenwald said the Canadian government, armed with one of the world's most repressive online censorship schemes, announces that all online streaming services that offer podcasts must formally register with the government to permit regulatory controls. Defenders of this bill are pointing out that only companies with $10 million or more of annual revenues must comply with this bill. There are very few Canadian podcasts that have revenues more than $10 million. Bill C11 will affect companies with more than $10 million of annual revenue. But this also applies to podcast distributors like YouTube, Apple Podcasts and Spotify, which means all of podcasts. The bill requires promoting and recommending Canadian content, just like how currently CRTC doesn't control artists but controls their broadcasters. This bill applies to adult content as well. Before Bill C11, there was Online News Act, also called Bill C18. The bill will address the negotiating imbalance between news publishers and platforms. Meta, in response to this bill, has blocked news sharing on its platforms in Canada. You cannot share news in Canada on Meta's platforms like Facebook and Instagram. When you see Bill C11, you will think this is a dystopian law. When you see Bill C11 and Bill C18 together, you'll know this is about protecting corporate media. Podcasts can say what news publishers cannot say. Podcasts don't have the level of regulations that news publishers have. These regulations will bring podcasts and news publishers on near the same level in terms of what they're allowed to say and all that regulations. I think this will kill off competition to corporate media, because why would you listen to some random individuals over news publishers with higher production budgets when both of them are saying the exact same things? You'll prefer the brand, you'll prefer the news publishers, the corporate media, because they have higher production budgets. Simple. I think this is about killing off competition. Corporate news will do propaganda of the government, and government will protect them from competition, from free market capitalism. I'll scratch your back and you'll scratch mine. Simple as that. I think that's what is happening with Bills C11 and Bill C.